What is up, my friends? It is Monday, it is the late night agenda, and this is the last week of the current Premier League campaign. With that in mind, we've gone through the media, we've gone through the newspaper stories, and we found you a couple of interesting bits that we wanted to get your view on ahead of the summer transfer window. We are, of course, going to be speaking about Mason Mount, Alexis Mac Allister, and new links to a centre back, an English centre back for Liverpool as well. You know the drill at this point. I want to know your thoughts on the players that we've been linked with, on players you'd like to see Liverpool recruit, and of course anything else Liverpool related. Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, and of course if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. So let's start off with Mason Mount, and let's start off with an update from Fabrizio Romano about Mason Mount's contract situation at Chelsea. So Fabrizio's been speaking, and he said, speaking to some sources today, it's going to be very difficult to extend Mason Mount. So it does look like Mason Mount is getting closer and closer to the exit door at Stamford Bridge. Now, does that mean he's going to go to Liverpool? Well, not necessarily, because here's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. So we know Jurgen Klopp's an admirer of Mason Mount. We know that Liverpool are certainly going to be in the running for his signature if indeed he does leave Chelsea. Now, we haven't yet seen a concrete price that Chelsea may be willing to listen to. Never mind this 70 million nonsense that's been mentioned previously. That isn't going to happen. Nobody's going to pay that for Mason Mount with just 1 year to go on his contract. But who is in the race? Well, it seems like apart from just Liverpool, there is also Arsenal, and Arsenal are going to go big this summer. You know, you've probably seen the reports, many of them, that because they're back in the Champions League now, that Mikel Arteta will have a war chest of about £200 million to spend. Now, this got me thinking a little bit, right? We've been in the Champions League, I think, 5 years on the bounce now. And not once do I ever remember any journalist or anybody inside our club or anywhere to say that Liverpool have a war chest of 200 million. We've been in the Champions League consistently for 5 years, and we're always crying poverty. We always have no money. Arsenal get in once. Here, have 200 million, Mikel Arteta. Go out there and do your thing. If only we had owners who would back the manager that much. Imagine us having 200 million for every season we get into the Champions League. In fact, imagine us having 100 million to spend net every time we get into the Champions League. Chance would be a fine thing, right? But with that in mind, we do look like we are going to face competition from Arsenal for Mason Mount, if indeed he does leave Chelsea. Now, Arsenal have always been linked with Declan Rice. That's been gone on quite a while, and it looks like Bayern Munich may come to the table for Declan Rice as well, so they may not have a straight run at it. They're also going to be in for Moise Caicedo and a few other players as well. So, look, I'm fairly simple about Declan Rice. In my own mind, I don't mind him. I don't think he's a bad signing, but it has to be for the right number. I don't want Liverpool to get into a bidding war. I don't want us to overpay for a player that, in my opinion, is a little bit of a risky signing. If it works, it could be brilliant. He could come in, he could rediscover his form, and he could be an absolute solution to the right-hand side of our midfield. Could add us more goals, more assists, and more attacking impetus. But we could also have the other side. We could have an injury-plagued Mason Mount. We could have a Mason Mount who we've seen this season that wasn't really at it. So I don't think this is a nailed-on signing. The signing of Alexis Mac Allister, I think, is a no-brainer. That fee, as we said to you yesterday, from our understanding, will come in a little bit under 60 million when it is announced. And I will move on to speak about Alexis Mac Allister soon, because there's been a few more stories on him. But with regards to Mason Mount, look, you've seen loads of different things. You've seen that he wants 350 grand a week apparently to stay at Chelsea, but he'll take less if he goes elsewhere. He'll absolutely want to be taking less if he wants to come to Liverpool Football Club, because there's no way he's getting 350 G's a week at Liverpool. But with that in mind, I think it's not a bad signing for the right money. What is the right money? Well, that's over to you guys to let me know your opinion. I'm comfortable anywhere between 40 and 50 million. That's kind of, 50 is probably the top of what I feel comfortable. Because remember, he's got 1 year to go on his Chelsea deal. If Liverpool so wish, they could tell him to sit on that deal, let him see out his contract, and we sign him for free next summer. Give Mason Mount a big signing on bonus. I don't know if I'd be going out of my way. I don't know if I'd be putting all my eggs into this basket if I was Jurgen Klopp. There's certainly other players like Thuram, for instance, that we could be looking at. So again, I just want to know your thoughts on it, but they are the latest updates on Mount. Now, with regards to Liverpool's search for a centre-back, I did tell you we were going to be looking at somebody who we hadn't mentioned previously on the channel, and that's Crystal Palace defender Mark Gay. So he is English. He will tick the homegrown box from my understanding. But he joined from Chelsea for 18 million in 2021, and Liverpool and many others have been linked with him. Now, this report from the Daily Mail reckons that it would cost about £50 million to get him from Crystal Palace. Now, I have to be honest again, I've not watched that much of him. Can't say I've watched a lot of Crystal Palace playing football, but we do need a centre back. That figure, about £50 million, sounds a realistic enough number for Liverpool to potentially spend on a centre back. I mean, I didn't think we'd go out and spend €90 million on Josko Gvardiol as much as I'd like us to. I feel like he's maybe Manchester City bound. But Mark A, the kid Inacio from Sporting Lisbon, I've seen nothing lately on the guy from Benfica. And a few other that we've brought to you guys as well. I want to who's your choice? Who do you want Liverpool to bring in at centre back? Would you be comfortable with a £50 million deal for Mark A if Crystal Palace look to cash in? Or do you think we should be looking elsewhere? I mean, there's probably a few names that you're thinking of, and Jurrien Timber is probably right at the top of that list, right? He's been speaking as well, and he's been saying that he's unsure what the situation is with Ajax. He's pretty calm about it. He was saying that Ajax are looking to rebuild. They've had a pretty poor season by their standards, and that he'll wait and see what happens over the summer. He'll wait and see what offers come in. I would still say, for me, he's probably the most likely if Liverpool are to look to bring in a centre-back. I think the agreement he has with Ajax about staying one more season last year into this season, and then, you know, being free to have a move if the right money comes in. And add to that, of course, his girlfriend was house shopping in Liverpool, according to reports. I think that looks more likely to me. Inacio is one that many people believe Liverpool's interest is concrete in, but I've not seen much from the English side really on this one. And the last thing that we have for you guys today, as I said, is an update on the latest on the Alexis Mac Allister. So a lot of Liverpool fans were getting worried earlier on today because apparently Manchester City have declared their interest in the player. Now, I don't think Manchester City are as an attractive proposition anymore. I think with the charges over their head, any player, whether it be Bellingham, Mac Allister, whomever, has to think wisely before maybe making that move. Yes, you'll get Champions League football for the time being. Yes, you'll get a really high wage for the time being. And yes, you'll be challenging for Premier League titles for the time being. But we don't know what's around the corner, right? And Fabrizio Romano, again, has been speaking on Alexis Mac Allister and the potential of Manchester City coming in. He said, Manchester City are not in the race for Alexis Mac Allister at this stage. No talks or concrete contacts. He said Liverpool are close to a full agreement on personal terms with the player, waiting on final details. Look, to me, this is a done deal. Alexis Mac Allister will be a Liverpool player, and they're going through the final details right now. There have also been other reports coming from Brighton to say that there's been no negotiation or no talk of a fee between Liverpool and Brighton. I don't believe that to be the case. I think that there was a mechanism that kicks in the summer that will allow Alexis Mac Allister to move, which we've spoken about before. And as I said, our understanding is that the fee will be less than the 70 million that's been mentioned and closer to the 60. But basically, the gist of it is I wouldn't be worrying about the Manchester City interest. Liverpool played their hand early here. We were speaking to the guy quite a while back and declared their interest in him, I think, 7 or 8 weeks ago, and we've been talking since. So look, don't worry about Alexis Mac Allister, but I do want to know your thoughts on Mason Mount and Mark A. And don't forget, we'll have another video coming up for you guys soon as well. Going to be doing a watch along of the Newcastle game, and then after that I'll be doing another news show where we'll have an updated news segment which should be uploaded to you guys tomorrow morning. So look, it is over to you now. Let me know your thoughts, and again, I look forward to catching up with you guys real soon. Take care. Bye bye.